So earlier this year, I made 32 different wings for 32 different NFL teams. It took me a long time. It was actually really challenging. I did a ton of research for each city and each team, and some of them were very, very popular. Some of them not so much, but they were all really delicious, and I said that I was going to rank them all from best to worst. So let's do it. I'm a big football fan, but I didn't want to make fun of any of the teams, which was kind of challenging because I am a Bills fan, so I just wanted to make sure I was respectful to all the teams, even our rivals. So I tried my best to keep the wing series, like, I tried to make the wing as if I was a fan of the team. I'm sure I didn't hit every single one how I probably should have, but I think I did a pretty good job. The series was really successful. It got millions and millions of views. So I wanted to rank up the best, and let's get right into it. I know I'm going to get grief about this, but coming in last was the Skyline Chili for Cincinnati, the Bengals wing. It was delicious. I guess you could say it was kind of special, but I just would never order these. I would, if somebody ordered them at a table, I would definitely eat a few just to try it. It wasn't bad by any means, but just like the least orderable wings. So Cincinnati, I'm sorry, but you guys were 32. And I promise this has nothing to do with you guys whooping us in the playoffs. It's just kind of how the chips fell. Okay, 31, the New York Football Giants. I did an everything bagel wing. Again, it was delicious, but I don't know, it just didn't, maybe execution-wise, come out right with the cream cheese. It didn't really, like, coat the wing properly like a sauce would. I probably should have gave that one a little bit more attention. It did taste really good, and like I said, I might get 5 if I was going to get 15. Like, if I was going to get 20 wings, I would get 15 of you know, a regular flavor, and then I would get 5 of those special ones and just try them out, just to try them. But again, they were good, but I could never eat more than a few of them. Number 30 was the coconut cocktail wings, the Las Vegas Raiders. They were delicious. Again, it just came down to ordering. You couldn't eat more than a few without it being like, wow, this is kind of just a lot, and I'm just running out of runway here in terms of like how many wings I could eat. And that's where I think when you get up into the high numbers, you know, you can eat a ton of those wings. They're super delicious, but you can like order 20 and be like super stoked with that. So that's why the Raiders fell down to 30. And exactly for the same reason, Tampa Bay comes in at number 29 with the blooming onion wing. It was really good. It just became a lot. When you're eating more than a few, you're like, geez, this is just really heavy, and I just kind of want something maybe a little bit more balanced and stuff like that. Again, this all falls on me. This has nothing to do with the team or the city. It just fell on kind of how they were executed, and you know, again, every wing that I created besides the Colts wing, which we redid, was delicious. So nothing against the teams, but just kind of the wing itself. And again, somebody has to finish first and somebody has to finish last. Team 28 was the New Orleans Saints with the Cajun praline wing. Again, super delicious and very special. But when that third category came in, like, I would not be able to eat more than a few of these. These wings were spicy and sweet, but they just, I don't know, a couple was good enough for me. Again, delicious, but I would only be able to eat 1 or 2 and then need to move on. Okay, the Steelers coming in at 27. The Steelers, okay. This one was totally my fault. I think I don't know, rushed these or whatever it was, but the black and gold, I really love the idea of it. I did a black seasoning, a charcoal seasoning with gold flakes, and I think it's like black and yellow. Anyway, it didn't really make sense. Probably should have gave them a little bit more love. Added the Akershire ketchup and the Permanis, like coleslaw, French fries. It was good. Like I said, these were delicious, but it just didn't look great, and I feel like I didn't do them justice, especially my buddy being from Pittsburgh. I feel like I had a little extra pressure on me, but they ended up coming in at 27, and yeah, I think that we could have done a better job with that, but either way, they had to fall somewhere, and that's where they fell. Number 26, the New England Patriots. Technical difficulty, I had to kind of restart here. What can I say? The clam chowder wing, it was delicious. Kind of a dish more than like an order of wings, I'd call it, but it was really good. But at the end of the day, it's a cup of soup and 10 wings. Like, really, really good. But you know, how do you order that more than once in a great while? Coming in at number 25 is the Ravens. Okay, I know I'm gonna get heat on this one. Honey, Old Bay. Obviously, it looks super, super delicious, but it just falls into the trap of having that it's not balanced right. And again, that was my fault. I needed to figure out a different vessel, whether it was, whatever it ended up being. It just needed it needed something else. I could have ordered 5 or so and been happy, but I think that makes a wing important, being able to eat a bunch. And I wanted to eat like 20 or 30 or 50 of the top ones, and this one just didn't make it. Very similar with the next one, 24, the Commanders, the Mumbo sauce. Again, I think kind of my fault. I don't think I really created the recipe properly. I did some research and did some due diligence. It was just a little thin, but I think, again, that was just on my end. Maybe I didn't boil it long enough, but the wing was good. Again, it was just something that you only want a couple or maybe 5. If it was a special at a restaurant, you would still order 15 of your favorite wings and order 5 of the special one. And yeah, that just keeps it a little further down the list. Again, all these wings were good, but they got to rank somewhere. Today's video is, no, it's not actually, not sponsored, but my pizza dough is now in stores. Go grab some, make amazing pizza at home. 23, I sound like a broken record, but the Zip sauce for Detroit, it was something that it tasted good. It was definitely special, but it just had this thing where, again, you would only eat a few of them and you would need to move on. The Packers coming in at 22, the cheese wing, it was good, but again, it was like just an execution problem. Just the cheese covering the wing, it was good, but like 1 or 2 bites and you were ready. Number 21 is the Philadelphia Eagles, the crab fry wing. Really tasty. Again, just kind of one of those things where, you could probably only eat 5 and 10 might be like a stretch. It was like the dry rub, and I always find that dry rubs are challenging to eat more than really a few. You want sauce, you definitely need dip, which the crab fry had, the cheese dip. Great wing, honestly, but just something that, personal preference, I'm going to put at 21. Would love to have 5 with like 10 or 15 other types of wings. Excuse me, with 10 or 15 other wings. So now we're moving into the top 20. Now these start getting to where I would be willing to order 5 or 10 or 15 and be like happy. So we're moving into Minnesota, which was the Swedish meatball wing. It was really good. I think it does fall down to the end of the category to where if I ate 10, I might start being like, oh, geez, I need another flavor here. But I thought the combination was like super unique and it tasted great, and I really love those wings. And before we move into 19, I just want to preface this, like the wings were good and every wing was really good, but some just stood out. And again, just basing it off this criteria of these three things that I'm looking at, this is why I kind of had to, I did have to rank them, and some kind of, like I said, were just a little bit more palatable to where I wanted to eat more, and that's kind of where I put a lot of my, I guess, the power in the ranking. Coming in at 19 was the Colts. Honestly, I probably should have put them down in the bottom of the rank because the first one I made was literally horrendous, and they DM'd me and said it felt like it was an attack. They were super cool about it, so I ended up remaking it because I didn't want like 31 delicious flavors and one just like terrible one. I just thought that was unfair. And I actually did say at the beginning of the series that I was not going to do any redos based on pressure, but it was my own kind of internal thing. I didn't want to have like 31 great, amazing wings and then one just like crap one. So we did we redid their recipe, the one that they made in their stadium with one of their players, and it was pretty good. Again, 5 to 10 would have been perfect of it. It was the Grover's wing. It was his recipe. It was basically just a bunch of crap and made into a barbecue sauce. It Coca-Cola, butter. It was really good, but it was just, again, barbecue wings, something like that. 5 to 10 is good for me, but when they're grilled, that's definitely it. Coming in at 18 was the Cuban wing in Miami. Really, really delicious. Didn't quite, I think this wing would have been like way higher on the list if I executed it properly, but it was basically all the Cubans ingredients diced up and like put on top of the wing. So it kind of just tasted like a honey mustard wing with like the ham and the cheese and the pickles. I really liked it, but I'm a big honey mustard guy, so I think that kind of was my just personal preference on it. I think it could have executed a little bit. Maybe we grilled it with the cheese and stuff like that, so it had that more of that Cuban feel. But again, it was really great. I would have been awesome. I would have been super happy if I got 10 of those. 17 again was this. 17, we have the Jets, was the pizza wing. This was really good. It basically tasted like a little chicken parmesan. This would have been like 2 or 3 or 4. The only problem with the wing, when you do that Parmesan method on just a small piece of chicken, it tends to dry out just a little bit. Maybe if we executed this better, it could have been way higher up on the list. Super delicious, but just slightly dry. And I think if it was executed really perfectly, it would have been like way up on the list, maybe even like top 5. Moving into 16 is the Cardinals, the enchilada wings. They were like super delicious. I could have eaten 10 of those, no problem. Really, really good. Just awesome balance of flavors. Really worked out well. Super happy with those. 15 was the Low Country Jaguars wing. It was like a Hoppin' John kind of wing, and it was baked. It was the only wing that was baked. And usually I won't go for like a baked wing like that, but it was delicious. We kind of did it in the oven, and it took probably almost close to an hour to bake those, but they were like juicy on the inside, and they had that like baked chicken. They tasted like just like awesome authentic baked chicken that you'd have at home at dinner, and they were delicious. So again, not like an order of wings, but different, like actually like a meal, kind of like how New England's was, but really, really good. And that's why they're at 15, kind of in the middle of the pack. Next up is 14. We got the Diggs Barbecue, which is the Cowboys. Somebody sent that to me. The people who make the Diggs Barbecue sent that to me, and I'm like, we got to do that. So I smoked the wings, added the Diggs Barbecue, then charred them up, and those were awesome. Very similar. Next is the Texans. 13, 14, and 12 really could be interchangeable here, but we had to rank them. The Texans were the smoked wings. Those were really, really good. Bought a Traeger just for smoking the wings. Super happy with that. And then 12 was the Kansas City Barbecue. Why I kind of put the KC ones over those Texas Barbecue ones was just the flavor profile from the Kansas City Barbecue. I just really liked that a lot. Kind of gave it like a little zip, and those were awesome. So 14 Cowboys, 13 Texans, and 12 the Kansas City Chiefs all were a smoky barbecue wing. Coming in at 11 was the Denver Broncos with the peach wing. Awesome. Added jalapenos for flavor. I did get a lot of pushback, like the area where the peaches were from was like an hour from Denver or something, so that was no good. But I think it was a little bit of a miss in terms of like authenticity of the wing and the flavor in the city, but super delicious. Greatly balanced. It made the wings super special, and I think I would be happy to eat like 10 to 15 of those. And really, really just a nice one. 10 into the top 10. Let's get into it. We have the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina barbecue wing was awesome. I loved it. I made like a combination of South Carolina barbecue and North Carolina barbecue, put them together, and it was really, really good. I could have eaten 10 to 15 of these, no problem, and I think you could have too. The video didn't necessarily explode and go crazy, but it was super delicious, and they looked just incredible. This was San Francisco, the fortune cookie wing. It was like an awesome kind of Chinese-style wing, but the fortune cookie was invented in San Francisco, so we went with that. These wings were like awesome. I really enjoyed this. It kind of had that vibe, like you could get the flavor profiles from like an American Chinese restaurant, and I love that kind of food. So really enjoyed these. It was an awesome kind of break from just like grabbing wings. Sometimes when you go to a restaurant, you see like, you know, buffalo, barbecue, and maybe a few other flavors. So seeing that Chinese style wing, again, not authentic, but just like American Chinese wing, I loved that. So that made it up to in the top 10, number 9. Number 8 was the pierogi wing for the Cleveland Browns. This was like legitimately awesome. I love those flavors. The farmer's cheese, the caramelized onions, tons of butter. It didn't necessarily taste like a pierogi, but you could tell what we were going for. And man, that wing came out really good. Number 7 was the Chargers. We did the adobo wings. These were, again, awesome. They were really delicious. They had an authenticity. They had a authenticity. They had a uniqueness, and they just tasted great. So they became special. And I would, man, if we just ordered those wings, I would be happy with that. I didn't need a different flavor. I was like almost addictive in the sauce and the way they were cooked. Like really, really good. Number 6, the Chicago Bears, the Italian beef, like looked very almost unappetizing, but the way they were made and the flavors and they had like the giardiniera, they had that kind of like au jus glaze to them. It was so damn good. I loved those wings. I want 20 of them right now. Top 5, let's get into it. Coming in at number 5 is the Seattle Seahawks. We did that coffee butter wing with the tartar sauce. God, those were so good. I gotta be honest, those wings kind of competed with 6 and 7, but because it had like millions of views on that video, I bumped that up to number 5. Wanted it to be in the top 5. But those wings were literally incredible. The fried chicken with the coffee butter, so good. I could crush some of those right now. 4 was the Atlanta Falcons. Surprisingly, I made a peach cobbler wing. People were like, how do you not make lemon pepper? But I'm like, Atlanta, Georgia, soul food, peach cobbler. Let's put it together and make a wing. And those came out looking super delicious, tasting super delicious. And I just had this like special uniqueness to them. Totally could order like 20 of them and crush them and be super stoked about it. Those wings were awesome. Number 3, the Tennessee Titans. The Nashville hot chicken wings were legitimately incredible, super spicy, but they have this flavor that's like addicting. Like you're burning your mouth, but you're like, oh God, I don't want to continue to burn my mouth, but they're so good that I need to continue to eat them. It's kind of almost like weird, like they're contradiction almost, but super delicious, tons of flavor with the pickles. I put the bread, try to make it like have that Nashville vibe, and God, I wanted 20 of those, but I would need like a gallon of sweet tea or something to crush with those. Number two, this one was a toss-up. Number 2 and number 1 were so good, but I think that I have a bias, and you're gonna think, when I say I have a bias, you're gonna think one way, and I'm actually kind of have a bias the opposite way. I've eaten so many buffalo chicken wings, medium wings, that I think that maybe I've become immune to how damn good they are. I made the Buffalo Bills wing, and I put them at number 2 because super delicious, obviously super special, and this is the wing where I think you can eat the most of. If I eat 100 wings in a year, they're probably 75 of them are like the Buffalo style wing. Definitely the number 2, could be the number 1, and I would have no problem with that. But the next wing just had this little kick to it that it was super unique. I'd never seen it before, and it was so damn good. And it was just one of my favorite foods as the combination. So the Buffalo Bills wing, delicious, delightful. Order them all the time. Eat them the most. Probably the best, but just. The next wing just had this slight edge, and it's not something I've ever seen before, so I got to give it to him. Number 1, the number 1 wing was the Rams. The sushi wing looked so damn good, was so good, had this super delicious flavor, kind of unique. Never seen these before. I'm sure they're somewhere, but like the sushi wing was friggin' incredible. I want to eat them more. So I probably need to make some more of them because there's not any restaurants around here that have them. If there is restaurants watching this, put them on the menu. Just tag me in the Instagram post, I guess. But for me, the sushi wing was just so good, and I would be happy to eat so much of that. I love sushi, so it was like all those great flavors. Obviously, the balance worked super well. I mean, we just kind of took the best parts of sushi and put them into the wing. And the LA Rams, the sushi wing, man, number 1. Number 2, the Bills, and number 3, the Nashville Hot Wings for the Titans. That's it. That's the NFL wing ranking. Maybe we're going to do a new series, NHL pizza, NBA tacos, MLB hot dogs. I've had a lot of great ideas, but 32 teams is a lot. It's a lot of videos to make. But guys, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you loved the NFL wing series, and I'll see you soon.